3 pages.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay, 30 seconds.
Yeah, Howard only has 2 as well. I messed up. It's 3 pages. Pages. He's missing a page, too.
20.
Is the show starting?
10.
Acacia.
5. 4.
We are Our Place Out Loud. I am your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker, here with a panel of coughing and hacking teenagers. We've got Ryan, Kiamute, Olivia. We've got Emily in the booth. We've got Jake. And we've got an assortment of adults to help out and listen to your teenness, because we're all about the teen thing. We got it going on up in here and all kinds of exciting stuff going on this week. Ryan, let's do shout-outs, and then I believe you told me that you have an announcement.
Yeah, it's not a huge one, but
Okay.
it's still fun. All right, so Happy just said hi, but it was the first 3 words that come to mind. Sapphire, Sick Freedom Seafood, Penguins are Monsters, Mind Brain Donkey, Kenzie, Justin Drew Bieber, Cheese Puffs 37, Cats, Unicorns, Llamas, Donate the Awesomeness, Unicorns, Waffles, Rainbows, Girl Lover 09, Zach is Cool, Skinny Kid, Feet, Swimsuit, Backpack.
Great batch of shout-outs you got there, Ryan. So what's going on with you in the personal life department?
My dad was talking to the new head of the media department at UCLA, and she said that they're right now about to relaunch their website, so she's busy with that. But she said after that, she'd like my dad to send her a sample of my writing, so she might feature me on the front page.
Wow. That is awesome. That is very exciting. You are a young journalist on the go.
Yeah.
You should see this movie with Robert Redford and Shia LaBeouf, because Shia LaBeouf plays a young journalist on the go.
Okay.
Way to be.
All right.
Way to do it.
I wouldn't mind being Shia LaBeouf.
You also get to hang out with Robert Redford.
Okay.
It's not a bad day at work.
Okay.
So let's just hop in. We have other exciting news. Olivia is a high school graduate.
I did
and they give you a hat that on top of which you can lay a cup of coffee. So, 12 years of college for basically what is an end table on your head.
Yep,
and
much.
It's pretty fetching. And then you move the tassel from one side to the other.
Yeah, it should be on this side.
Yeah.
I don't like it on this side.
Right.
So I'm leaving it on this one for now.
I just think every night you should go like that, so you feel every day like you've just graduated.
Yeah,
a sense of
that
accomplishment.
That would be nice.
And then it has the year.
It does.
Yeah.
It has that
And
one attached.
I don't know if anyone's noticed it, but on the bathroom door, maybe on this side or the other side, there's a little tassel, and it has. Is it there?
It is.
Would you like to display it, Justin? Because that is the tassel from my hat, and I'm bold enough to say the year. Would you like to say look at the year, the year that I graduated high school? Yeah.
74.
74, babies. Oh yeah, I'm a youngster.
Mine's hanging in the middle of my room.
So those are things you don't ever. Yours is hanging in the middle, like a.
It's like hanging from the roof in the middle.
Yeah,
of the room.
you should just put disco lights on it and spin it every now and then. And with you have your friend from childhood.
Yes,
young
this is my best friend, Emily. We have been friends since the 4th grade. We met in the Gelson's parking lot.
Mm-hmm. That's where I meet everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just go down there.
And
all the homies hang.
Yeah, and there's samples.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
Only on the weekends, though.
I know.
Well, but Gelson's has the best glazed cookies.
They do.
Yeah.
From Victor Benes.
I know.
It's so true.
So good.
We're all on the same
And so
page.
you just said, "Kid," and ran up to her.
It was like we were waiting for a bus to go to camp, and then we sat on the bus next to each other, and then I was like, "I go to this school," and she's like, "Me too." What?
Wow, you guys know how to conversate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, what's the best fight you ever got into?
Don't.
Ever?
No.
That's good.
Yeah.
But make something up before the end of the show.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
I can think of a fight that we got into with someone else,
Okay.
but we were on the same team.
All right, excellent.
CPK.
Did you win?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, CPK. I'm bringing up CPK.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so...
Another parking lot story?
It's a lobby story.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Okay.
don't worry. It's
All right.
close. But, So we were in middle school, and us and another group of girls decided we wanted to go to CPK.
Which is California Pizza Kitchen, in case you don't have that in your state.
Oh, no, you do.
Oh, you do.
They're
They have them in
everywhere.
like China also.
All right.
They're
Yeah.
everywhere.
In China, it's China PK.
China PK.
China Pizza Kitchen.
So it was a half day of school, and we were all going to go, but we had to take separate cars. On our way down from the hill, because our school is on a hill, we get a text saying, the other group, we were like, we're not going to go to CPK anymore. I mean, I guess maybe we can meet up later, but I don't think I can. We're super busy, da-da-da-da-da.
Dude, you were getting ditched.
Hold up.
Hardcore.
We decide we're not going to let them ruin our little CPK experience. So we still go to CPK.
And they're there.
They walk in after us
What?
and try to hide their faces.
There's like other restaurants to ditch you at.
Yep. So they walked in and they were like, oh my God, do you think they saw us?
So wait, they thought that you wouldn't still go without them?
Yeah.
World does not revolve around you, chicas.
Revolves around the sun, like Newton
Yep.
said.
It revolves around CPK.
Yep.
All right, let's get to some issues. We've got some teen stuff going on. I got an interesting... Howard's here. He has lots of show business stories. It's 888-531-7171. And Matt is adjusting Olivia's microphone. And that's my play-by-play. Not very good, Ryan, right? I should just
What?
I should just stick to being a columnist.
I don't know. I mean, play-by-play is one of the hardest things to do.
I know, because I just tried and it wasn't good.
But I've tried and it wasn't good either.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So I got an interesting letter to Ask Wheezy last night, and I thought it was interesting and that we could discuss it. It comes from someone named Acacia. She writes, I'm quite popular on YouTube and Twitter, but I get massive amounts of hate over almost every little thing because I used to date this boy who was also YouTube famous, and ever since that, the breakup, his fans and others bombard me with hate over nudes I didn't send. I try to be strong, but it's tough. Any way to improve the peace? So what I kind of wrote to her was like, when you're internet famous, I think maybe it's the same as if you're famous, but when you're internet famous, everyone thinks they have access to you because they kind of do, and their reaction is a mixture of one of several things, which would include awe, envy, and also a sense of I would love to be this popular, and I wish I knew her, but if I don't know her, I'm going to hate on her. So it's kind of like being popular in school, but where you hear everything that the unpopular kids are saying about you because they say it directly to you, which they would never do at school. And so I kind of wanted to bring up an example before I throw to you, Ryan, because after I read her letter and answered her letter, I was watching The Bachelorette, of course, and now they show Twitter messages on the screen. Who's noticed this?
You're the only one. It's been like 2 years.
Okay.
And you're still the only one.
Okay, so bear with me. So they're showing The Bachelorette on the screen, and then they're displaying Twitter messages, which is really confusing for an ADD girl like myself. Do I read? Do I listen? I can't do both. Okay. So, but the Twitter messages they're showing are so mean, and it's over nothing. Like there'll be a guy taking out The Bachelorette, and then the Twitter message going, "Wow, he has more teeth than people are supposed to have." When he really just has a nice smile. Like, they find the meanest way of just saying whatever they notice and pick out about the person. So I imagine if you're a teenage girl and you're internet famous because you do something well and you do it consistently and people are responding to it, even the Beebs got so much hate in addition to all the love. So it's like a mixed bag. So I don't know. I think you have to be really strong if you want to step into that bright of a spotlight, and I'm going to throw to you, Ryan.
All right. Well, first off, I just think it's pretty cool that you're popular on YouTube. That's like, that's a plus. But and one of the things I usually and always try and stay away from, and this whole subcategory of quotes, of which includes haters gonna hate.
Right.
Well, I don't agree with like the people who say that kind of thing. It's true that a lot of times when you do things because of the envy that you were talking about, there's gonna be the people who are gonna hate on you, and they express it to you because they have that ability. And so, I've seen YouTube people that I subscribe to post when there's comment wars about them and some other YouTuber, they'll post a video that's just like, hey guys, stop it. People tend to listen, and if they don't, then you just gotta move past it. It's one of those things where it's hard to move on, but you gotta just let people complain and ignore them. What do you think, Olivia?
Well, the other thing, too, is that I don't know what the other guy is famous, YouTube famous too. So I don't know if you've watched his videos, but he could. I don't know the circumstances of the breakup either, but he could be saying something, and that's where this is coming from. If it were me, I would disable the comments for a little bit, maybe make a video about that as to why, and if you can, speak to him, and maybe if he doesn't know that this is happening, maybe he can say okay, guys, you need to stop.
I don't know if he's exacerbating it or if it's happening to him as well, but it kind of reminds me of when that guy Jacob, who just sold Tumblr, was dating that girl Julia, who was internet famous, and people loved her. Her name's Julia. I can't think of her last name, but she was really fun and funny, and she was the most popular Tumblr person. And she was dating Jacob, the guy that just sold Tumblr to Yahoo, and they were the most famous internet couple of all time. And the exact same thing happened to them. They got so much hate from people that were just jealous of them, and then they would start talking about this or that. You can't prove a negative. You can't prove you didn't send nudes, and it's no one's business anyway. And unless they can produce the nudes, you didn't send them. So I wouldn't even discuss it, because that's bringing attention to the people that are starting these rumors, and that's what they want. I watched her video, her most recent one. She does what she does, and she does it extremely well. Continue doing what you do that made you internet famous. Being interesting and fun and giving all kinds of tips and hints and cheats. I'm not sure if she also sings, or I'm not exactly sure what her what of all her package is, but she's incredibly delightful. She kind of looks like you, Olivia, and she should just continue doing what she does and not and I would say ignore this stuff, because you could go online and find nasty stuff about Julia Roberts or anybody who's anything famous, and you don't want to give attention to the people that are just an irritant. Go ahead, Keo.
What I would say is the attention that you're giving to the haters, I would give to the people who are supporting you, because I looked her up too.
Yeah.
And there's the first comments I saw weren't hate, but people saying you're great, you're awesome.
And she is.
Yeah. So pay attention to them and think about them more than haters, because the haters aren't really important. And like everybody's been saying, that's kind of just gonna happen. That's how it works. There's going to be somebody who's envious and somebody who's going to want to say bad things. I don't really understand why, but what I do, if I feel like somebody's trying to hurt me, for one, I'm stubborn and I don't let it, because I feel like that's their goal, and I'm not going to let them do that to me. And then two, I try and analyze why exactly they're hating on me and why they're doing it.
It says more about them than it would ever say about you.
Yeah.
And I read Justin Bieber's mother's book. Good read, if you can get it. Justin Bieber's mother's book. And when she first started putting her kids' videos up on YouTube, she managed the page, and she didn't even let him look at it. So he would have been 12 or 13 or whatever, and then she would just delete all the comments that were negative. But she would say things like, oh my God, he's a child. So if someone would go onto the musical page of a 12-year-old who's singing and say something hateful, then that's who's out there, Acacia. That's who's out there. They are meaningless to you. They mean nothing. They're pathetic. Go ahead, Ryan.
Real quick thing. I don't remember where I saw it. I know I saw a GIF of it before I saw the video. But there's a video, and it was on some show, but they had a bunch of famous people read things that were tweeted at them and that were insults, but they had the people reading them. And it was great. So look it up if you can find it.
Yeah, because you could parody the haters and make fun of yourselves and everything, too, but...
It was hilarious.
I think you're doing just fine. All right, so who wants to talk about Jack Bow? Who's been in the app lately? Anybody? You've been in the app lately, Olivia? Yeah. All right, so Jack Bow, interesting kid. He's been banned, and then he was back, and he was great for a while, and then all of a sudden he... first let's talk about the question that he has that's legitimate. He wrote, I saw inappropriate texts on my brother's phone. Should I tell my mom or no? Should I just let it be? Thoughts? Liv?
It depends what kind of inappropriate.
I guess it was nudes from a girl.
That's his business. That's his brother's business.
Even though it's child porn on his brother's phone?
I mean, well, then you're getting everybody in trouble. Do you know what I mean?
I kind of don't, because I'm so
I mean, I'm not saying
militant
like
about not wanting girls to send nudes.
Well, I'm not saying that, but it's like, would you want your parents, like, to see that? Because then they're going to see it too, and then, like, you're just showing more people. So it can stay in one place for right now, or, like...
I don't think it's in one place. I think any guy that gets nudes spreads them. So I think the girl is at risk. So I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't do
But
this.
she's going to get in trouble too.
And I wasn't a kid during this time period. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, just from like knowing guys and being a guy, I don't think that guys always have the intention of like spreading things and doing bad things with them. But at the same time, that can happen, and it does happen a lot. I remember like a while back we got some question that involved like all these guys having one email at their school or something that they all shared them in or something.
Right.
See, like, you know, and that's not happening all the time, but it can happen. As for like if you tell your parents, I know I wouldn't want my brother telling my parents something that I did wrong, like no matter what it is, nor would I tell my brother, unless it's like if I noticed that my brother was having an issue with like hardcore drugs, I'd have to go to my parents and be like, look, this is a real issue that we need to resolve. But if this is just one of the things that it happens a lot. You know, you think it's extremely wrong. I'm with you on that one, but it's what a lot of people do is they grow up and it's like they have to learn.
So you're saying it's a kind of more of a normal childhood offense than I realize, and
yeah.
Okay, Emily.
I guess if he hasn't approached his brother about the text messages, then you should do that before going to the mom, at least. And if you're that concerned, and get his perspective about it, because it is his business, and it could cause more harm potentially by going to your mother about it.
Yeah, I mean, it could damage the brother relationship. If this is supposed to be like, yo, we're bros, you know what? Why are you harshing my mellow, or whatever the kids say? Go ahead, Keo.
Yeah.
Is Jake laughing at me?
Harshing my
I am
mellow.
laughing at you, yes.
Why are you harshing my mellow? I was gonna say pretty much the same thing. I would talk to the brother and at least talk to him first, because it's kind of backstabbish if you don't talk to him at all and just go to your parent. At least talk to him and tell him what you're gonna do and how you feel. And I do think that it's inappropriate is kind of a vague term to me. It could be something kind of innocent but still inappropriate, but or something very serious that does need to be told to a parent. So yeah, we'll go ahead, Ryan.
I agree with that, but Jackbo, not to harsh your mellow or anything, but why are you looking at his phone?
People pick up phones like
But
they ring.
I don't look at my brother's phone. That's his business. I leave it alone.
Yeah, that's true. But like, if a phone rings, you might pick it up and.
But then you shouldn't be seeing pictures when you
Right,
answer
that's
a phone.
true. That's true. Liv,
I mean, like, the thing
Yeah.
is like sometimes, like,
if he did later.
like for instance, like your phone is right there, and if you got a text message right now, it would pop up.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, it would. pop
go to
up
your
and
brother
forth.
first. Because you could really, the girl in the situation, we're forgetting her. I know.
I'm not.
Like,
That's
you
what I'm
shouldn't-
remembering, is that she's the person at risk because her image is being transmitted via.
I understand, but she will get in just as much trouble as the boy.
But it will let her get in trouble now before she sends the next nude.
Yeah.
I mean, girls do what boys ask them to do, and they're putting themselves at risk. I want it to stop. Emily.
I mean, as much as, I could empathize with the girl in the situation of not wanting a potential nude being sent to be spread to other than the person it's meant for. That's the risk you run by sending it.
Exactly.
And as much as, you could think, oh, well, think of the girl, if that ends up being spread, it's no one's fault really but hers.
And
yeah,
that's a
so the
life.
question is, like, telling the parents, is that further spreading it, or is that putting a stop to it by getting her parents involved? And what, Liv?
If they get if the school gets involved, you can get, like, expelled.
Well, the thing is, you got to make sure the school doesn't get involved. If it didn't happen at school, like that's saying that's been an issue at my school this year. Is there things that have gone on off campus that the school has taken into their own hands, and kids have been suspended or expelled? And like I partially see why they did it, but on the other hand, it's not a school-related
Yeah, it's
activity,
not-
and it
but-
didn't happen on school campus.
Yeah.
And then the one other thing is like just what you were saying, Emily, about like it being a about like needing to that's the run you risk, the risk you run. Wow, I'm really out of it right
You
now.
tried.
It's really good. I
that's
enjoyed it. The run you risk.
That's a really good like life lesson just for anything, and that you know when you have to know the potential risks whenever you do anything, and that they can always come back to bite you. And
All right, we're going to take
Yeah.
a phone call real quick. Who's there?
Animagus.
Hello.
Animagus.
Hello, Animagus.
Hi, Weezy.
You have 3 minutes, my love.
Sorry?
You have 3 minutes. You know the rules.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do.
So,
Okay, so what's going on, honey?
Rachel.
What's going on?
It's Rachel. Just today, she looked kind of upset. So I texted her and I said, "What's wrong?" And she said she didn't really know. She has a hard time describing what's upsetting her.
Who are we? Oh, is
So-
this a bad? Hold on one second. Is this a bad connection?
Yes. Have her.
We're-
Can you call
we're
us
gonna-
back?
We're gonna have you hang up and call us right back. We're getting a lot of static on
All
the
right.
line. Is she talking about a kid in the app?
I don't know.
Well-
Oh no, I think she's talking about her girlfriend.
she'll tell us when she goes
Yeah.
back.
All right. So while we're on the subject of Jackbo, most of what he does is great, and then all of a sudden he went into LGBT. All right, we'll get Animagus back online. More to come about Jack. He's an interesting kid. No, it's still pretty bad. All right, let's keep talking. All right, so he goes into LGBT and he asks, how do girls have sex with each other? And then he blamed it on his friend, but then he went into app mods and started this long argument about
Yeah.
being gay just not being okay. And, we've been over this and over this and over this, and you're just not allowed to spew LGBT hate in our place, period, end of sentence, end of concept. And so I had to talk to him privately at Ask Wheezy, and then I had to go into, and I don't like arguments breaking out in app mods. That's not the place to have a debate or any argument at all. And Olivia, did you see all that was going on?
Yeah, I'm in mods pretty much every day.
Mhm.
And I try to answer everyone, but sometimes it's just like, "Hi, mods," and I'm like, "No, that's not what this is for." But when I saw it was like 64 things
Yep.
responded to it
Yep.
when I woke up today, and I mean, it's not only like not the our place isn't the place to do that.
Well, his argument is you're telling me not to have my beliefs. And,
No,
we're
we're
not
not.
telling anybody not to have their beliefs. If you're taught through the Catholic Church that homosexuality is wrong, you can believe that. You just can't say it here. It's our app. We get to set the rules. Ryan.
Yeah, I think this is kind of almost a similar thing to what we were talking about last week with the religion issues, and when people would say like, "You're going to hell for that." You're allowed to have that belief, but it's the way that you enforce and throw it at other people that restricts them from doing what
He
they
was using Bible quotes.
exactly. And so you're allowed to believe that that's what happened, but just as our place as an LGBT like
Friendly.
friendly community. I was
Yeah.
gonna say pro, but then I didn't put it before. But
Yeah.
my words are not working tonight. But no, as an LGBT friendly community, we get to make those rules, and our rule, as clearly stated by you, is that you don't get to just hate on the people who are gay or lesbian or any of that.
I mean, the truth of the matter is the pendulum is swinging, and most of the world, maybe not all of the countries of the world, but most of the, I don't know, what portion of the world would you consider America to be in? Most of the first world nations, probably the Western world, yeah. Probably a lot of second and third world nations don't like being called a second or third world nation, but most of the first world nations that are as open-minded as the United States, and like, let's face it, a lot of the United States is not all that open-minded. But hold on one second, Jake, is your hand up? Go ahead.
Okay. First, I have to say something.
Okay.
First world means you're allied with America during the Cold War. Second world means you're allied with Russia. Third world is unaffiliated. It's not an offensive term. It has
Oh,
nothing
okay.
to do with economic development.
Oh,
Second,
good point.
if your belief is that a group of people is just naturally wrong, that's pretty offensive, and we don't take. We're not gonna, we're gonna tell you not to say that to people, but if you want to go into the debate section and have an actual debate, you can have that. But I think so, at
It's-
least. But a debate is where you both argue your point and no one changes their opinion. You're not gonna. The people aren't gonna go, oh, I guess I'll not be gay now. You're not gonna win anyone over. You're just gonna kind of make a lot of people mad, which is usually not something you want to do. So.
Well, Jake,
yeah.
I'm feeling at the moment like I'm okay with arguing religion. I'm okay with arguing politics. I'm just not okay with arguing gay. Because I
not an
firmly believe that you're either gay or you're not, and I don't care what's in the Bible.
Is that
It was
the
written
argument that
thousands
there
of
are
years
no gay
ago.
people?
Pardon me?
Is the argument that there are no gay people?
No, the argument is that those people are sinners and going to hell.
But I
That's
think that,
unfortunately a religious opinion right now.
yeah, and
Exactly.
I feel like that's something that
But
can be
I-
applied to a lot of things.
I think that when you have, when people are allowed to spew that opinion in our place, Jake, that the gay kids are more on the bubble, in other words, more at risk than the Christian kids. And I'm going to side with the gay kids. And if reading that hurts their feelings and puts them in danger of hurting themselves, I can't have that opinion in the app. I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Because
I
that's
agree with you.
kind of the
It's-
rule right now, is that you cannot say, you can argue almost everything in the app, Jake. I just can't have you arguing that side of the gay rights issue.
it's
When you put it that way, I find
Olivia?
it perfectly reasonable.
I mean, how is it? I mean, I'm siding with you completely, but like, I mean, for me, it would be going into the app and saying something extremely racist. That's where it's the
exactly.
exact same thing.
Like, I
You're
don't think white
taking-
people should be able to marry black people, and they're going to hell if they do.
Exactly, and that's not okay. Everyone in the app would jump on the person who said that.
Yeah, and I think 50 years from now, everybody, even Jack, will come around and get that maybe what he was being taught at church is kind of wrong, and I'm changing my mind about this.
It's
I
people.
don't want to get mad at the kid if this is what he's being taught, but I just can't have him. He can have that opinion. He just needs to keep it to himself. There are plenty of websites he can go to and have that opinion where he won't be argued with too much. Or maybe he enjoys arguing. Maybe the kid likes picking at stuff and seeing feathers fly.
Well,
I can't figure out the
Then
kid.
maybe he shouldn't be in the app.
Because I like the kid a lot, but he really ruffles feathers, like, fairly often.
So then,
And
I don't know. Put an end to it.
so I did. So, he hasn't been back in a few days, but I think he'll be back. But maybe he has something to learn, and maybe our place is a good place for him to learn that. But I just think it's too dangerous for a gay kid to have to open the app and read a Bible verse that, frankly, has nothing to do with modern life. Like, a lot of Bible verses have nothing to do with modern life, like where you plant your crops or selling your daughters into slavery or a bunch of stuff that's in the Bible. And it's all Old Testament stuff, too. So when was that written, Jake? When was the
Thousands
old-
upon thousands.
Thousands
of years
upon
ago,
thousands of years
by
ago.
old people walking in the desert.
Go ahead, Liv.
I mean, like, for instance, at my bat mitzvah, my whole Torah bit was about leprosy. And I had to write a speech about what that means to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't,
Right.
so,
So where do you come down on the leprosy issue? Pro, con?
I mean, it's not really, we don't need to even talk about it. It's not even an issue.
I have a really good leprosy joke, though.
All right.
And this is assuming that no one gets leprosy ever again and that it's funny. Okay, why did they have to cancel the leprosy hockey game?
Why?
Because there was a face-off in the corner.
Sorry.
So we are Our Place Out Loud, and I'm sorry if I offended if I offended the
Any
colony
faceless
of
corner
lepers
people.
off the coast of, what was the island? I forget. I think you can go there now. There's nowhere.
Oh, the one in near Kauai or something?
Yeah, you can go there now. It's pretty good. Malachi. No, that was Frank McCourt's brother. Never mind. Okay. We are 888-531-7171, Our Place Out Loud. I am Louise Palanker here with a lovely cast of fantastic teens. Anonymous writes, Hi, Wheezy. There used to be, and kind of still is, this guy I like who goes to my school. And we talked a few times before, and I often would watch him looking at me, and he always likes all of my Instagram pictures, too. Recently, my best friend, we're practically sisters, we're that close, put up a couple of pictures, and he started liking hers, too. It kind of hurts just because we are so close, and now he probably likes her. My questions are, how long does the average crush last? Is it really a big deal for a guy or to even like a girl's picture on Instagram anyway, whether it be Facebook or Instagram, etc.? And do you think he was probably has probably moved on to her? If he even liked me in the first place, please help. Okay, so what is the correlation between liking someone's pictures and how you feel about them, Olivia?
Okay, here's my thing. Likes don't equal love. So you could have 100 likes on a Facebook status. It doesn't mean that every single one of those people absolutely adores you.
Oh, I'm in love with everyone I like.
Good. And, I mean, I feel like it is a popularity contest now, and it's like, you know, the more likes you get, like, oh, it makes you feel good, but it shouldn't.
Well, could it be like with guys that like liking a girl's picture is like the first way of sort of saying,
No.
hi girl.
I see my
Hi-
brother
hi,
on his
girl."
Instagram, and he just scrolls, like, scroll,
But
like,
but it is a kind of a way of saying, hi girl, hi girl, hi
no,
girl.
why?
Is it, Ryan?
It can be, but
Yeah.
there's no way to tell because you can't send a special like that says hi girl and one that doesn't. I like pictures that I like, whether they're comic strips or pictures of people or whatever it may be. I like them because I like the picture. And I don't mean to like be the person like who kind of has to like say this, but like I see
Like-
this a lot. Like the internet is such a bad place to try and receive and send feelings, and when
Yep.
people think that that a like or a comment or a share means someone likes you or loves you, it's not true, and that they can be like overlapping. They may love you and they may share your post or like you and share your post, but they don't mean the same thing. But there's this guy I subscribe to on YouTube. His name is Scooter Magruder, and he uploads a bunch of funny videos. But just last week, he, for some reason, got the inspiration to make a how to tell if he likes you video, which wasn't that funny, but it was really accurate. Look it up. Just Scooter Magruder, how to tell if he likes you. It's super accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I've just found out that the phone line doesn't work, along with my plumbing, and I was just writing on the card just what I need more crap that doesn't work at my house. But but you stopped talking and I had to stop writing. So
I can
like,
keep talking. So you
like
keep writing.
Justin came over earlier and he saw the mood that I was in over all the crap that's wrong at my house. But
Get it? Because it's plumbing.
but I wonder if the plumbing people like chopped through the phone line with their pickaxes and their pipes and sewage and whatever else they bring with them. Go ahead, Olivia.
one time when we were redoing our backyard
Mhm.
because it was time, because it was from the 60s and it was weird.
Yeah.
So the guys with the th one, yes,
One's better.
they hit a gas thingy, and my parents were out of town, so it was just me, my brother, and our babysitter. And we go outside, and the whole thing smells like we were about to die. So we went back inside, and they had to come and fix it, and it was terrifying because I thought that even if like my brother farted, our whole house would be on fire.
Maybe, but what's ironic and sad about this is that the show is finally streaming in the app and the phone is ringing off the hook and we can't take any of the phone lines. We
Yeah.
can't take any of the phone calls and it's like extremely upsetting to me.
But
right
we're
now.
not on fire.
That's good.
We're not on fire, but we can't flush the toilet. Go ahead, Ryan.
When I was at boarding school, each kid got to call home once a week, and there was in Colorado. There's a lot of weird weather. Like you'll wake up and it'll snow or hail, and then it'll be like 70 degrees like at noon. It's really weird. That's like in springtime. But there was a lightning storm, and we had this giant like enclosure that we had like all our big metal dumpsters in, and a lightning bolt came down and hit it, and fried the phone line, and like. We were all sitting in the living room, and it hit right next to it, and like it was really bright. It was almost like a
Whoa.
flashbang. Like it was ridiculously loud, and it was bright, and everyone was like screaming. It was crazy. But then the phone lines were dead for a week.
Wow, for an entire week. So that means that no one liked your pictures?
And because they didn't like
Good.
my pictures, they didn't like me.
All right, we're moving on to Ellis23. Well, today when the guy I liked, he said that he wanted to talk to me, and just when I thought he was going to ask me out, he says, "Do you think your friend likes me?" OMG, Olivia.
6th grade memories.
Oh gosh.
I'll just say his name now, even though we're going to be going to college
You
together.
said a lot of names
Go
on the
for
show.
it.
All right, so there was Max Jacobson
Yeah.
and Max Gaines. And my little 6th grade heart, Max Jacobson all the way.
Beat for him.
And that
Yeah.
was it. And then he was friends with Max Gaines. They both came up to me one day to ask if they thought that Emily Persky liked them.
No.
I mean, she did, but
Oh.
yeah, so I know how heartbreaking this is, and it sucks.
It does.
And I mean, the best thing you can do is just kind of smile through it. But I feel like if your friend knows how you feel about him, she'll kind of be like, if he asks her, like, no.
Well, see, this gives testament to how tricky it is to ask someone else if someone else likes you, because you may be inclined to just not give him the truth or the whole truth because you like him. So, and the best way to find out if someone likes you is to go straight to the source, because your answer will be filtered through your own like hurt feelings. You might be like, or whatever. You probably won't lie, but I don't. Why should you be obligated to tell the truth when your poor little heart is breaking?
Because telling the truth, I think you're always obligated to do when you can.
So how she should?
I'm not saying it's easy.
Should she have to be the messenger? Like, should she have to go and find out?
No, she could just say, I don't know, but
Yeah.
like, do you have to tell the truth? Well, I think if you can't lie.
I think the truth would be like, I don't know, but I like you.
I don't think that's...
If you're bold enough to say it.
If you're bold enough to say it, yeah.
Emily?
I mean, regardless of your feelings, even if it hurts, if you don't want to make your friend sound bad or anything, so especially if you like the guy, you want to come across as, being helpful and a kind person and not, be bitter about it. Like,
can I tell you a true story? This is like me as a grown-up. I had a crush on this guy who worked for David Letterman, and I was trying to get a job at David Letterman. Then I got a crush on this guy. Trish knows who I'm talking about. And I asked my friend Jeff Altman, who knew him, because Letterman was in New York and I was here, and Letterman told me that he was married, and he was never married. The guy that I liked. I mean, not Letterman. I didn't talk to Letterman. Jeff Altman told me that the guy that I liked was married. Letterman had nothing.
I just almost passed out thinking that David Letterman is my favorite person.
I know, but the point I'm trying to make is like even grown-ups can throw you off someone's trail.
Yeah.
Like you can't trust information. Like if you're like me, if you're not bold enough to say to the guy that you like, "Hey, when I come to New York, let's go to dinner." Like I always would say coffee because I was like chicken. But I mean, I was afraid to hear him say, "Oh, my girlfriend won't be cool with that." I was afraid to hear that he had a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, so I like avoided it. And especially after like Jeff Altman told me that he was married, then I completely acted like we were just pals. What does that mean? Oh, Jeff Altman. Anyway, the point is, you never really are. You can never know if you're getting the truth about whether or not someone likes you through someone else, because they may have their own agenda. Ryan.
I was going to say real quick, my ex-girlfriend had this thing where she thought I didn't like her, but she liked me, and I didn't know she liked me, so I didn't really say anything about it, but I liked her. But she because she thought I didn't like her, she tried to set me up with other people. I don't know why she did that.
See, it gets crazy.
But now, well, not now, but then she became my girlfriend.
Right.
So it's like, yeah.
But yeah, I think that, back to the original problem, which is it's nothing but heartbreaking what you're going through, but it's so normal, and we've all kind of been there. Go ahead, Olivia.
Another thing about, this was the summer after 6th grade. So, and it kind of goes back to the Instagram liking pictures, liking you thing. Mm-hmm. There was this guy, and he wore a hat. And one day he let me wear the hat. Mm. And I was like, oh, man. And then the next day he let another girl wear the hat. And, the bus ride home.
It meant nothing.
The hat's been with too many girls.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so Mindless Unicorn. So these 8th graders invited me to hang out with them today. I'm in grade 7. And we split up and then meet up. And then we meet up again, and they had just come back from this candy place. One of the girls stole a bunch of candy. I feel a bit uncomfortable about that, and I'm not sure what to think of it either. All right. Hey, Olivia, is this hilarious to you?
I read it as a brunch. They stole a brunch.
A brunch of candy. That would be the most excellent brunch ever. Eggs and candy. All right, so should you tolerate your friends breaking laws, or are you obligated to go back to the place and say, hey, this kid stole candy, or do you eat the candy, or what do you do, Ryan?
Do you go back to the place? No, and that causes bigger issues, and I don't think that it probably wasn't like enough candy that they're super worried about what happened to their truckload of candy.
It was a brunch.
Like, if you got in the truck, if your friend got in the delivery truck and drove off with their candy, you got to do something about that. If she walked in and took a bag, it's illegal, it's bad, you got to say something to her. You can tell your friends you're not comfortable, her or him. You can, I know, it was her. You can talk to them and tell them that you're not comfortable, but don't create a bigger issue out of it, and just say, you know what, that makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to be around you guys if you guys are going to do that again, and I don't want to be involved in that kind of thing.
Yeah, you could be like, uncool. I don't think it's funny or cool to steal. I mean, no one says that because everyone, like, it's like groupthink, and you're like, oh, I guess we're supposed to be into stolen candy. Olivia.
2 things.
Yeah.
First, there was a That's So Raven episode where Raven was either working at the mall or at the mall, and then Corey, her little brother,
Right.
saw this kid steal something and say the 5-finger discount, and then Corey was all like, I'm gonna steal something too.
Mm-hmm.
And then Raven found out and was like, had a vision, and then she was
Uh-huh.
like, Corey's gonna get arrested, but
Uh-huh.
she couldn't figure out why, and then he stole it, and then she figured out that's why he got arrested.
remember
and it wasn't cool, and Corey was really scared because he
Did
was
Raven
in.
have superpowers?
She did. She could see the future.
Okay.
But only
Yeah.
parts of it, and like it wasn't clear
Right.
as
Yeah.
to what happened.
Okay.
It explains it in the theme song of the show.
I
so
did not
Raven,
know
it's
It's
that.
the future I can see.
That's
All right.
Raven,
So mysterious to me.
I really think it's all we need
Yeah.
to learn.
That's all we need to learn. And then the
Yeah.
second thing is that my friend Hannah, sorry Hannah, but she got banned from Sephora at one of the malls in here because she would steal their samples.
Yeah, no.
Because the samples are just out and they don't have anything on them.
No.
Don't get any ideas.
I know, but they're so shiny.
They,
Wait, do they have like her picture so that employees
I
know not
don't.
to let her
I
in?
don't
Yeah.
know, but
Because my 7th grade teacher had his face posted at Six Flags not to let him back in when he was a
Wow.
kid. Him and his buddies.
He was hazardous.
Steve. Not
Steve
gonna say the last name.
Futterman?
No, yeah, I
Oh,
wasn't going to say his
wow.
last name, but yes.
All right.
We're on a show.
All right. So, yeah, we're doing a live show. That girl writes, oh, who wants to read it? It's long. Ryan?
You know I love talking and
I
reading.
do know that.
Well, I don't know about reading, but talking.
really?
No, I was kidding. That wasn't funny. All right, my brother has been doing a lot of drugs lately. We used to be super close, and now we're just so distant. He won't speak to me anymore, and whenever I try to talk to him, he'll come at me with these rude remarks about how he doesn't need me and that I'm nothing to him. And believe me, it hurts. He was always there for me whenever I was hurt or crying. I want to be there for him, but he won't let me. And then, like, the face with the slanted thing. I can't get him to stop doing drugs no matter what I do. I just want the old him back. He lost himself, and I'm losing myself trying to find the old him.
Okay, Emily, would you please read the response from Mike O?
In pushing you away, he might be trying to save you.
Wow. Insightful, yes. Olivia, comments?
All right. Your brother needs to save himself.
Right.
You can't save him.
Exactly.
That's going go. That's the hardest part about watching someone deal with addiction, is that I mean, if you're not an addict, you just really want to say, then just stop. But
Right.
they can't.
And also, the words really hurt, but you have to remember those are the drugs talking. That's not your brother.
Yeah.
And it's your parents' job to intervene,
Yeah.
not
You need to tell your parents
a sibling's job.
right now.
Kyo.
Yeah, I'd definitely tell your parents, and don't take it to heart too strongly what he's saying, because I'm sure he still cares for you a lot, and it's kind of, you can't really help someone who doesn't want to be helped. They kind of need to want the help, and you should be there. And if I were in your situation, I would probably write him a letter and say I care for you a lot and I want to help when you're ready. But don't try and force anything, because he's probably just going to push back harder. Go ahead.
I mean, I in high school experienced friends who have severe drug problems, and they're not in my life anymore because I spent so much time trying to fix it, and I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know it kind of sounds cliche, but it happens, and they have to hit rock bottom because that needs to happen. Otherwise, they won't see. They don't see. They don't see that it is a problem. Kia?
I can also say, because this has happened with me and my older brother, and it's kind of hard to have your younger sibling help you. It's kind of like, at least with my older brother, he has like a pride issue with me, so he'll feel like that I'm looking down on him if I'm trying to do that. Somebody, right?
Emily.
Yeah, I actually know somebody right now who's struggling with drug dependency, and people that have an addiction are, it's all about them, and in what way are you going to
serve them
and essentially enable them, and while you may care about them deeply, you're not, unless they want to receive the help, like
right.
you can't do anything except for be there. But don't get yourself involved if they're gonna just because whatever you do, because all you want to do is give them what they want, because you want them to be back to how they were and be happy.
Yeah, and be nice to you. And drug addicts are the most selfish people on earth. Everything they say or do is in service to their addiction. And even when they're smiling at you, it's because they think you might give them money or, not tell mom or whatever. They are so selfish. It's the most unsocial thing you can do to become addicted to something, because you do not care about anything other than getting that next fix live.
Yeah. And also, I was really close with the parent of the person who was having this drug problem, and watching them go through that was maybe even harder than how it made me feel, because, that's their child, and this is why I say, tell your parents, because that you need to intervene, whether it's, it could, honestly, it's probably what we're talking about here, to just smoking pot. And even if it's that, I feel like your parents should know. If it's enough to the point where it's ruining your relationship.
Well, my you know what I always say, that if someone is in danger or endangering themselves or others, there's no secrets. You have to tell. And, as Howard just wrote down, if their lips are moving, they're lying. That's what addicts do. And he understands addicts because he manages Dr. Drew, and Dr. Drew understands addicts. And they are their own breed, their own science, and their own study. They do not respond or behave like any other people in any kind of environment, in any kind of way, in their relationships, in their work, in anything that you and I are pursuing or that we think a person would do, like if this, then that, cause and effect relationships. Nothing. Everything they do is in service to their addiction. Everything they do. So he's not your brother. He's this person who is living in your house and behaving like an asshole because he's an addict. Go ahead, Ryan.
What Olivia was saying about like they have to hit rock bottom and stuff like that. My cousin had a really good friend who I got to know a little bit, but I didn't know him that well. And he was really into baseball, and he was on a club team. And anyways, he started getting into drugs, and he didn't get into any of the colleges he wanted to go to. In fact, he got into none. He got kicked from his club team, and that was kind of like his rock bottom when he had a realization. And for some people, it's a lot worse. But then he totally came clean and went sober, and then he got a scholarship offer to a D1 baseball school, major university, which I'm not going to say too much because I don't want people to no, but still, when he turned it around, he now realizes what his potential is. And so sometimes it's even enjoyable to see the progress someone can make as much as it's painful to see the levels they fall to.
All right, I want to move. I want to jump ahead to the next, because we kept this from last week, and I think it's a really good thread theater. It's unlike anything we've ever discussed before. But since I haven't assigned roles, I'm just going to have you go back and forth mic to mic, and you can trade off so that there's not that delay of someone swinging the mic around. So we'll start with you, Ryan. You can be Sugar Rush, and say the name of the person whose line you're speaking.
Sugar Rush. Is the Confederate flag racist? I found one in the back of my friend's mom's car. So we drove our car to the end of the driveway and started waving it with my friend because we thought it'd be funny, and we were chilling in the back of her mom's car and waving it, and this guy drove by and gave us a thumbs up and was all like, yeah! And we were like, TF, XD. So I went home and I told my mom, and she was like, no, that's bad. And I'm like, okay. And then I told my dad, and he's like, well, it ain't racist or none. And my mom said it was, and he's like, well, just don't show everyone. And I'm like, okay, but is it really? Because the internet was saying weird stuff the Civil War never ended, and I'm like, this is hella weird, so I'm out, so I thought I'd come here and hear y'all guys' opinion because IDK.
No, we're going to go back mic to mic so that we don't have to spend time swinging the mic around. But now we're spending time with me explaining this again. Go ahead.
I mean, oh, okay. No, I had the Confederate flag as my background picture on here up until a couple days ago. It's not racist. It was the flag of the South in the Civil War. Just because the South was for slavery, it doesn't mean the Confederate flag is racist for most people. They just say it represents Southern pride.
It's not racist, but it's definitely disrespectful and kind of stupid. I mean, it was the flag of the people who wanted to leave America just to enslave innocent people. That's why they stood for essentially. That's what they stood for essentially. Do you really want to wave that flag? It's just pointless to me. Not to mention disrespectful. It's the flag of the people we fought in order to keep slaves. Again, why would you want to wave that flag?
Kit Kat at America the Beautiful. Because it's part of the U.S. history, whether you realize it or not. I've grown up with it. It's everywhere here. To me, it doesn't represent people who wanted to enslave Africans just to make them work for them. It means you're from the South. Kentucky is in the South, sort of. I always thought it was in between, but I've always been told it's South. I'm from Kentucky. I think it just means you represent the South. Like I said, Southern pride. It's far from stupid, and I'm proud to wave the Confederate flag.
A lot like the Nazi symbol was really.
Wait,
that
you got to say the name of the person.
Oh, sorry, Black Ivy. A lot like the Nazi symbol, it was originally a religious symbol, but then it was used by Hitler. It is extremely disrespectful to use it, and though it didn't in the beginning, and that represents slavery, and myself and a lot of people take offense.
Marcy, I definitely don't think it's racist. I should know. I'm from Georgia. That flag is pretty much the symbol of the South. We have it in an American flag everywhere in our town. I even have a rebel flag shirt. I mean, yeah, we were fighting for slavery, but not just that. We were fighting for our own way of life. So it's just a symbol of pretty much the Southern way.
Black Ivy. Yeah, the Southern way of slavery.
America the Beautiful. To me, I find it disrespectful. I just don't get why you would want to be proud of that flag. Yes, it represents the South, but not in a good light. It represents arguably the worst period in American history, and essentially the failure of the South. I don't mean to offend by any means, but it's not much to be proud of. George Washington warned people to put the nation before the state or region. So wave an American flag and have American pride.
Okay, so I know that you guys all grew up in California. I grew up in the north on the East Coast in Buffalo, New York. So we don't have a true Southerner here to weigh in their side of it, but your thoughts on this debate. I thought it was a very interesting and articulately argued debate for our place. Ryan?
Yeah, I agree with that. It was really interesting, and it was all the people had well-written, good responses. I really see both sides in this one, and for me at least, I don't find it offensive, but I see the connotation that it brings along with it. And actually, right before I was reading Black Ivy's comment about the Nazi symbol, or the swastika, I was thinking like, oh, I should say something about that when we're finished with this, which is that it didn't always represent that idea, or it doesn't anymore, but what it has been attached to over time has created just this idea that's not good when it's shown. And sometimes, even if you're not personally offended by something, if it offends other people around you, it's a better idea to keep it quiet. Like the same thing we've been talking about with the LGBT issue, which is that you're okay to believe it, that you're okay to have the flag and enjoy it, but if it's offending the people around you, it's a good idea to kind of keep it quiet. Olivia, what do you think?
Well, maybe because I'm Jewish, I'm a little bit hypersensitive to the whole swastika thing. But yesterday in the graduation theater, we rented out a theater in Glendale, and in the border of the stage, you could in the design there were a bunch of little swastikas, and it just weirded me out to see that. So
they were probably engraved in the 30s before that meant that.
No, it's not that old of a theater, but it was weird. And so I mean, like, just like that kind of like was like, what? To me, I could see how like the Confederate flag could be like that to someone else.
Right, but lots of people in the South have them hanging from the back of their pickups. There's courthouses that have both flags. It's pretty common in a lot of southern cities that you would see the American flag and the Confederate flag waving, and this is something that is hotly debated in the South at present. Q.
Well, I think what is important is really people's intentions, which isn't always, like, you can't really tell what someone's intention from waving a Confederate flag is, but the Confederate flag's original meaning was seceding from the U.S., correct?
Yes.
If you're hanging that right next to the U.S. flag, it's not meaning what it meant when it was made.
Oh, interesting. So it's we are the South.
I mean,
but we're also America.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly. I mean, the war was about race essentially, so I understand why people would be offended. It's kind of, to me, I relate it to blackface, like people painting their face black.
Mm-hmm.
It's not inherently like a bad thing to do. It's not like you're a bad person because you paint your face black. Maybe like a little kid would do that and not think anything of it, but.
Right, it's all connotation. Like we had a Halloween party at Premiere one year, and this guy, I think he was a Mexican guy. He came as, do you remember, Matt? Who was it? Adrian? What did he come?
Yeah. I think he came as. I think he said he was Blackbeard the pirate.
Yeah, and he was Blackbeard the pirate, and and there was an older African American gentleman, Leroy, who worked for us, and he went home. He was so offended because he had been raised in a time period during which that was making fun of black people. There was no costume where it would be okay. I mean, and Ted Danson, I guess, made the same mistake one year at the Friars Club. But like, there's no costume where it's okay to ever put on blackface because it was so offensive. Mm-hmm. It went beyond anything that anyone should ever tolerate, and so it's become like, we don't say the N-word. We don't put on blackface. Right. We don't have swastikas anywhere in any artistic design. We just don't have them. So I don't know how that wound up in there. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, there's some things that just you never should have to look at or hear ever again. I don't think the Confederate flag rises to that level. Mm-hmm. But for some people, looking at it brings up the same ire or the same feelings of somebody wants me gone, or I don't belong here, or I'm not even with every other American.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite as intense of an emotion like that it brings, but I feel like it's kind of the same idea of controversy with something happened in the past, and this kind of has come to represent what happened, but whoever's doing this right now doesn't necessarily think that.
Have the same intention, or what doesn't have that memory. Like when Adrian put on that costume, he didn't have the same memory that Leroy had. He did not have that intention. And so I think we can be offended at whatever we find offensive, but you do have to ask, what was your intent?
Yeah.
When you came out here and raised that flag on a polar, when Sugar Rush went out to the end of her driveway and waved the flag around, what was her intent? She was a kid having a good time. Mm-hmm. She wasn't saying, the South shall inherit the earth, and we're gonna we're gonna fight and be our own country. I mean, there's people in Alaska that want to secede from the Union, and there's people in California that want to break off from the rest of California.
Mm-hmm. Well, we might
up in the north. Like if you ever seen the show How the States Got Their Shape? It's really interesting how there's like a different personality in every part of the state. Like we you call yourself, we're from Nebraska, but you could go from town to town in Nebraska and find very, very different viewpoints. Like, the rural parts or the more urban parts, and different feelings. Like, I bet if you went into like the more urban areas of the South, you would see way less Confederate flags than you would in the rural areas of the South. Olivia.
Well, my friend Kat lives in Northern California, and the split of Northern and Southern California is crazy. It feels like you're in two totally different states.
Yep. Yeah, it's really very,
weird.
Very different personalities.
And they say different things.
And different vegetation.
Yeah. They say, like, the term hella is said a lot up there.
Hella and hecka.
Yeah.
What are you saying? What does that mean?
It means extremely.
I know.
No, but I didn't know that when I first heard it either. But it's one of those things where it's like, we're too big for our own good. We're just like,
It's a really big
this
country.
is California.
I have a
and
friend
this
Emily in
should be
Texas too.
California.
So.
Yeah, really.
What?
They want to be the Yukon or something.
University of Connecticut?
Oh no, didn't they want to be Jefferson or something? The top of California? They want to be called like Jackson or Jefferson? I forget.
Ew.
They picked a guy.
Yeah.
So we're almost down to like 50 seconds of time, Jake. What should we talk about?
Onions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. But the top defensive lineman in the nation, as coming out of high school, defensive tackle, Eddie Vanderdoes, who committed to Notre Dame, decommitted from Notre Dame today and committed to UCLA, but he already signed a letter of intent, so he can't play till 2014, but that's okay because he's awesome.
Is he going to be with David Lee Roth again?
What?
Never mind. We're Our Place
think I'm
Out
too young
Loud.
for that
one.
We will see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Jump!
It's coming back.